Hey there, my name is Drew Brashler, and in this video, I want to talk to you about the iLoud Micro Monitor Pro. Now, if you're brand new to my channel, I'm all about helping you feel more confident with your production gear, no matter where you're starting from. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, I've always been looking for a small little near-field monitor that is flat and relatively loud for my front of house spot. Now, my goal for this is to put this right next to my board and have this pointing right at me for using the monitor control room output out of the Behrigner X32. Now, the benefit of this is if I solo up a channel, I then can be listening to it either in my headphones or I can have a separate control monitor for just the monitors that are in front of me at my front of house. Now, the benefit of this is if you maybe are in a bad spot for listening in your room, what you can do is you can actually mix off of these as long as these sound relatively similar to the way that your room sounds. Now, all of you front of house guys that are mixing from a balcony or in a back closet, something like that, for a lot of church people, that is their place that they end up mixing from. But having a set of near fields at your front of house spot in that balcony or in that closet and mixing off of those can actually help you have a better mix in the room. Now, if you're doing this, what you need to do is you need to tune your PA in room to sound relatively flat, just like these would. So use some music, use your ears, maybe get a tuning system like Smart set up for your room and get that PA sounding correct. And then what you can do is you can put these at your front house spot with your Behrigner X32 and mix off of these. But let's actually see what these things are all about. Now, the iLoud Micro Monitor Pro comes in a set of two, plus has this RTA mic, or this measurement mic. Now, the great thing about this is we can actually connect this into the back of the speaker and do a calibration reading for your speaker. So what this will do is this will make your speaker in the environment that it's at completely flat. Now, this is very huge because if you are listening to speakers and they are emphasizing the lows and you're mixing off of that, your mix is going to not have as much low end because your speakers are overemphasizing the low end. Same thing with the high end. If your speakers are overemphasizing the high end, then your mix, when you're mixing, is not going to have as much high end. Or if your speakers are too dark, then your mix is going to have too much high end. So this is really key for making sure that your speakers are completely flat. So let's go ahead and check out some of the specifications of these speakers because I'm actually pretty excited about these things. Now, the iLoud Micro Monitor Pro features two drivers. So this is a two-way bi-amped, digitally controlled compact studio monitor. So this has a low-frequency driver of 3 inches and a high-frequency driver of 1 inch. Now, the great thing about this is this has a frequency response from 50 hertz all the way to 20 kilohertz with plus minus 2 dB. Now, if we go look at the -10 measurement, that this speaker can actually go from 42 hertz all the way up to 22 kilohertz. On the back of the speaker, we have a volume knob, an input via either XLR or RCA, and then we have a couple controls on the right-hand side. Now, our very top button on the right-hand side is our mode button. Now, this can switch between desk mode, our calibrated mode, and our flat mode. Now, I'll talk about calibrating this in a little bit. The next button down that we have is our high frequency. Now, that high frequency is a high shelf that can either be at plus 2 dB or -2 dB from 8 kilohertz all the way up. Now, our low frequency is the same thing. So we have a low frequency shelf that is plus 2 or -3 from 100 hertz down. And then the next button we have is our low frequency extension. So we can switch between a high pass filter of 50 hertz or a high pass filter of 80 hertz. There is a USB-C port on the right-hand side for updating the firmware or even getting a more accurate frequency response with your calibration mode. Now, speaking of the calibration mode, the iLoud Micro Monitor Pro includes a measurement microphone, which you can plug into the input of the back of the speaker, press and hold calibrate, and then press it once for it to do a full calibration of that speaker in the placement. Now, you want to place this microphone horizontally right where your listening position is, where your head would be. Now, once you press and hold that button and then click it, the speaker will go through a calibration mode. Now I've measured this speaker through Smart, and it does have a very flat frequency response from 50 Hertz all the way up to 20 kilohertz. Now there is also software that you can put on your computer to get a 4 measurement position average for your calibration file of your speakers. You can simply connect the speakers with the provided USB cable and use their free software that they have. Now the benefit of the software is it's going to have 4 measurement positions rather than just 1. So it will average together a better sweet spot for your head position to be when you are listening. Now the other thing that I love about these speakers is that they are small enough to fit in half of a Pelican 1510 or the 1535 Air series. So this is perfect for a to-go kit if you wanted to be able to travel with this on a plane. Now, if you're integrating this with your Behrigner X32, there are control room outputs on the back of your board with XLR. Now, the best way to do this is to connect an XLR from our control room out to each of the speakers. So I'm going to do that now for this speaker right here. Now, the great thing about utilizing the control room out on the Behrigner X32 is that we have a monitor level right here for being able to turn these speakers up or down that is separate from our headphone volume. So we can see that our headphone volume is right here. And so if I take my microphone and I turn this thing up, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, I have a volume here between my headphones and my monitors that are right here. So I can go ahead and actually turn this up and get a louder volume into my speakers here. Now, when you're utilizing the control room output on your Behrigner X32, you want to go ahead and press the view in the monitor section, and then you want to select where your mix is actually coming from. Now, if you are utilizing the Behrigner X32 in the studio and you wanted to be able to listen to your DAW coming back into the console without any of the processing of your console, we can actually do that. So we can set up our DAW to come back in on aux 5 and 6. And to do that, we can go to routing and then go to our aux ins and simply select card 1 through 6. Now at this point, you just need to select your master bus inside of your DAW to come out of your card 5 and 6. And then what you can do is you can go down in here and we can see that aux 5 and 6 is right here with our card. Now, the benefit is then we can go to our monitor section and go and select aux 5 and 6. Now, once we select aux 5 and 6, our control room output for our near fields is listening to the output of our DAW coming back into the console without any processing of our console. So you are hearing exactly what's coming out of your DAW, which is great. Now, if you're utilizing this in a front of house position, then you want to go ahead and select your left-right, and I typically choose left-right AFL. Now, the benefit of this is then this gets all of my mixing and my volume from my master left-right bus. Now these speakers, they sound great and they are flat. And so I am very happy with adding these into my mobile kit when I'm utilizing the Behrigner X32 because they fit kind of perfectly with our console. Now these speakers are spec'd to put out 94 dB at pink noise. So that's the full output that they can put out. Now, when I was doing my measuring, I was able to get above 94 dB, but when you get up into the louder portions, what's going to end up happening is that the low end is going to end up diminishing, whereas the high end will still be able to come through. And we can see that on my measurement here. This was a measurement at 102 dB, measured where my microphone was. Now we can see that the low end is definitely lower than the high end, and we can see the other trace line is completely flat at a lower volume, closer to the 94 dB. So if you are utilizing these, make sure that you just don't push them too loud. But 94 dB is pretty loud for mixing at a front of house spot with these near fields, or even mixing in a studio. Now, I want to thank IK Multimedia for sending me these speakers to give you guys a good review. I've been able to listen to these over the last couple weeks, and they do sound very nice. So this would be a product that I would recommend. If you are interested in picking up a set of these, you can look in the description down below to read more about the iLoud Micro Monitor Pro. Now, I hope this video is helpful for you today. If you do happen to have any questions, or there's a video of a product that you're hoping that I would make, please put those down in the comment section down below, as I'm always reading through those comments to find videos that are going to be helpful for you. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my website at drewbrashler.com. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day.